Every group, please add another question before tomorrow. When I wake up tomorrow and I open this document, I want to see at least 30 questions. Okay? Before tomorrow. Next week will be the Kasama exchange program. So for 5th period, please go directly to your assigned classrooms. And each group leader, please remember to bring your laptop. I will give you, or you should receive an invitation to join a Google Meet virtual room. And if you don't receive an invitation, contact me and I will see what's going on. So next week, 5th period, we're doing this in separate classrooms. 6th period, please come back to this classroom and we're going to talk about grammar again. Okay? Okay. Homework. Page 20. And if you need handouts, there are more handouts in front. Feel free to take 2 copies, even 3 copies. Okay, page 20. Hello, my name is Juliet Smith and I am a history teacher. I live in this. Small town is one town. You want singular, this small town. The name of it is Forestville. Usually we would say its name. Its name is faster. I like living in. Is it this or that? If you think the answer is that, please raise your hand. If you think the answer is this, please raise your hand. If you forgot to do the homework, please raise your hand. Okay, the answer here is this, because it says my family here. So when we're talking about it, we are currently still in the place. It is closer to us. That's why we say here. If the answer is that, then this should be there. Right? Over there, we say that. Over here, we say this. Next one. Houses, plural. So the answer is those, plural. What I like of my house is a big tree, one tree, singular. So the answer is that. Next one, flowers, plural. So the answer is those. Family, even though it's more than one person, a family is one family. It is singular. So the answer is this. When we introduce people or we introduce things, we point to them and we say, this is, right? Or these are, because we are currently talking about them. Next one, profession, singular, so that. Next one, boys, plural, so it's those. Next one, picture, singular, so it's this. Next one, are, plural, so it's these. Dad is singular in this case, so it's this. And is singular, so also this. Next one is singular, so it's this. Are, plural, those. Book, singular, that. Notebooks, plural, those. Aha! Profession is singular, but both this and that are singular. So should it be this or that? Correct, it's this because we are currently talking about it, right? The person talking is a teacher, right? This is my class, these are my students, or those are my students. So this is our current subject. It is not over there, it is over here. So this profession. Finally, is singular, that. That's all. Questions about this page? Paragraph. Paragraph 3, second one. So this one. Students, plural. So it's those. Okay. Personally, I would rather say these are my students, but we don't have that option. Other questions? Okay, next page. This one is a little harder, but I think the answers are still standard answers. Allow me to introduce you to my beloved pets. That's kind of funny. Usually we say, allow me to introduce my pets to you. But no, here we're bringing you to my pets. The first one is this. As I just said, when we introduce someone to someone or something to someone, we use this and these. We are currently talking about it. So this is my loyal dog. Next one, this or that. That, because it's over there. So it's that. This one is this. It says two, right? So it's either these or those. Which one? It should be these because we are currently talking about them. We are not changing the subject. These two adorable creatures. Next one. Hamster in its cage. So it's over there. That is my hamster over there in its cage. Same here. Perched on the stand, it's another location, not here, it's over there. So that bird. But now that we have included them in our conversation, the next one should still be these pets. All of the pets I was just talking about. I have already introduced all of them to you, so it's these pets. Same for the next one, these pets. Questions? Okay. Okay, that's it. So this week we are talking about adjectives, adverbs, and numbers. Adjectives and adverbs are probably the easiest part of English grammar. So I'm just going to talk about the parts that may cause some trouble. Generally speaking, an adjective should be before the noun that it describes, right? A green book, a sunny day, it comes before the noun. But some adjectives come after the noun. Uh, our textbook gives us 5 kinds of adjectives that come after the noun. So uh, some are particular words. Okay, number A and number B are the same reason. So if they are actually a relative clause with the pronoun part left out, then it looks like the adjective comes after. Let's look at the examples. The children present, the children who are here, right? The children who are present, and you can omit the who are. So it looks like the adjective comes after the noun. We're going to talk about sentences like who are or that are next semester. But this is one case where, because of that structure, it looks like the adjective comes after the noun. So in this case, you would not say the present children. You have to say the children present. Or uh, the meaning is different, I should say. If you say the present children, that means the children we see, the children we are talking about, the children we are discussing. But if you say the children present, it means the children who are here. A lot of the time, these two groups of children will be the same group, but not all the time. Sometimes you will be talking about children that are not actually here. Same thing for the first one. The people concerned means people who are related to this situation, who have something to do with this situation. But if you say the concerned people, that means the people who care about the situation, who feel concern about the situation. Again, these are sometimes the same group, but not always. There can be people who care about a situation, but who are not involved in the situation. And of course, there are people who can be involved in a situation who don't really care about it. For example, we are all involved in the process of choosing our president, but not all of us care about that process. So we would be voters concerned because we're involved, but we are not all concerned voters, voters who care. Okay? So putting these adjectives in front or behind does make a difference. The next type, sorry, the same type. So these two, number 3 and number 4, you also have missing who is or that are. The last man who is standing, the 3 cakes that are left. So if you take out the who is and the that are, it looks like the adjective comes after the noun. Number 5 and 6, pronouns. Adjectives describing pronouns always come after the pronoun. You won't say special something. You always say something special. Never say intelligent anyone. We always say anyone intelligent. Next one, adjectives of dimension or duration. In other words, if you're measuring something. So height, age, if it's something that you measure, like depth, length, then the adjective comes after the noun. So like here, right? 7 feet tall, tall comes after the feet. 20 years old, old comes after the years, etc. And then finally, just like number 3 and number 4, it's actually omitting part of a sentence, right? So sometimes the sentence continues. I bought all the bottles left. I bought all the bottles left in the shop. In both cases, you omit the that are. So these are when adjectives come after the noun. Questions? Okay, the next one is harder. Let's talk about, um, okay, before we get into the hard part, another slightly easier thing. There are two ways to use adjectives. One is, as I said, put it next to the noun. The second one is to put it after a be verb, right? The result was magnificent. My girlfriend or boyfriend is beautiful. The weather is getting colder. In all of these cases, the main verb is a be verb, and then after the be verb is an adjective. Um, Sometimes a verb like become or grow can also fill the role of a be verb. So this sentence structure is the same as the other three example sentences. Subject, we call this a copula. It links two parts of the sentence. It links the subject to whatever describes the subject, and then the adjective. In terms of grammar, you should remember that beautiful is not the object. A be verb does not take an object. You cannot, existing does not change something. It is simply there. So it's a description. It describes the situation or the subject. Okay, and then finally, the slightly more difficult part is this one, adjective order. If you guys remember from biology class in high school, how do we classify organisms, right? Kingdom, domain, phyli, 界门纲目科属种, right? English adjectives have something similar. Um, if you want to describe one noun with many adjectives, they go in a specific order. And what makes this hard is that native speakers know this order. They use this order, but they don't know that they're doing it. They don't know why they're doing it. So if a native speaker tells you, no, no, you have to put this adjective first and then the next adjective, and you ask them why, they'll say, I don't know, it just feels right. But grammarians have come up with some principles to explain why. The basic principle is the more essential to the noun, the closer to the noun it should be. So if you look at these examples, my first big green rubber ball, the ball absolutely is rubber. Made of rubber, it is essential to what this ball is. So it comes last. It's closest to the adjective. Next, green. You're still describing this ball, but maybe different people will see slightly different colors. So it comes up earlier than rubber. And then if you look at the first group, big is very subjective. You think it's big, I think it's small. First depends on the person. And then my absolutely is according to the person. So the noun is here, and the further away we go, the less essential that adjective is to the noun. Um, okay, I'm gonna use Google Translate because this is a word that you should know. So the further left on the list of nouns, the more contingent. These are not very good translations. The more contingent the adjective is. Contingent is the opposite of necessary. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So the further on the right, the closer to the noun, the more necessary the adjective. The further from the adjective, the farther on the left, the more contingent the adjective is to the noun. 越接近那个名词、那个形容词本身就是越必要的，然后越远离就是越靠左边的形容词是越偶然，就是跟名词本身不是必要的。Let's look at some other examples. Okay, so like we have the principle here. I don't think this principle is very helpful because it's not easy to remember. So group C, the most important group, some kind of permanent quality or substance, often a secondary noun. We'll, yeah, we don't have examples of that here. I'll talk about that later. Group B, important but not as important. You have things like color, nationality, gender. And then group A, the least important, article or determiner means my or the. Perceived quality, what each person sees or feels. And then size, weight, age, measurable things. So in that order, article, perception, size, color, nation, gender, permanent quality, and then substance. You're not going to remember that. So just remember the principle. The further on the right, the more important the word. So this one, an attractive ancient British copper necklace. The necklace is made of copper. It is absolutely made of copper. It is British, that's true, but it could have been from another country. It's not essential to this necklace. It is ancient, although if you ask an ancient Egyptian, they may not agree. It is attractive, but that's your opinion. And un is the least important word. Let's do another one. My 5 old American cousins. They are American. This is the more certain adjective in this sentence. Are they old? Depends on who you ask, right? They are 5. It's a measurable word, right? You can count them. You can measure how many. And then his, it belongs to somebody. This is the least important one. Magnificent. Okay. It's missing a word. The magnificent old American Ford automobile. An automobile is a car. So who made the car? Ford made the car. Does Ford make non-American vehicles? Maybe some of their cars have parts from like Japan or something. So this is less important than the company. Old depends on who you ask. Magnificent is your personal opinion. And then the, which is not here, it should be here. The is the least important word. So I hope you're starting to get a feel for what kind of order you should put things in. If you have trouble remembering, the first example goes in alphabetical order, right? Attractive, ancient are the least important, so they come first. British comes second, copper comes third, right? A, B, C. Hopefully that'll help you remember. Now look, do you really need to remember this? If you're just talking to somebody, not really. But if you're writing something and you need more than one adjective, then yes, you do. Because if the order is wrong, it feels very weird. And it's an immediate feeling. Somebody who knows the order in their heart and they read a list of adjectives in the wrong order, they know it's wrong, they will feel confused, and they will trust you much less because to them it feels like you don't know what you're talking about. So it is only by convention. It's only because everybody does this. There is no logical reason for this order. But for native speakers who don't understand why, it feels like logic. It feels natural. And of course, if you do something that feels unnatural, it is very, very obvious. So you should try to at least get close to the correct order. And if you really need to nail down the exact order, you can always ask ChatGPT. Questions about adjective order? Okay, before we move on to adverbs, there's one last kind of adjective to talk about. I hope you put on your thinking caps because this is going to take some thinking. Sometimes a noun is actually an adjective. For example, that's not good. Kitchen sink. It is a sink, 水槽, that is in the kitchen. The word kitchen is a noun, but here it is describing where the sink is or what kind of sink it is. So the word kitchen here is actually an adjective. A cup holder is a thing that holds your cups. You can put your cup in it, like in a car or a movie theater. Again, a cup is a noun, but here it is describing what kind of holder it is. It's not a cigarette holder. It's not a pencil holder. It's a cup holder. Sometimes these words get combined into one word. Bookshelf, same principle. It is a shelf for putting books on. It's not for putting, okay, I guess you can put DVDs if you want to, but it's not for putting people. It's not for putting presents. It's for putting books. But because these words go together so frequently, they have now become one word. So in fact, there are a lot of these kinds of words in English, right? Keyboard, doorknob, also. Um, but if you know this principle, then you can start to have fun with it. For example, uh, a people mover, something that moves people. Usually this refers to things like public transportation vehicles. Um, Here's another one, a cherry picker, something you use to pick cherries. This is a kind of car, especially used by repair people and construction people to get at things that are very high. So like if you ever see a worker from Thai Power and they're repairing a high electric wire, the machine they stand on, it's a car, right? They stand and then it goes up. That's a cherry picker. Now, there's one more thing to know about these kinds of adjectives and words. Notice how I pronounce them. Cup holder, bookshelf, keyboard, doorknob, people mover, cherry picker. The emphasis is always on the first syllable. So, for example, this word, you do not say pencil case. You say pencil case. You only emphasize the first word and you de-emphasize every other word. 不但只有第一个音节有重音，其他音节全部都要压下去。Okay, so this is nouns used as adjectives. Now, I don't know if you remember, but at the very beginning of the semester, I said categories such as nouns, verbs, adjectives, don't really mean anything. The only thing they tell you is where in the sentence is this word? What is this word doing? Parts of speech, nouns, verbs, adjectives, are not the meaning of a word. They are the function of a word. And so that's why we can use nouns as adjectives. That's why we can use um, adjectives as nouns. If you remember, this means young people. Uh, and that's why we can use adjectives as verbs, which means to make the process slower. The part of speech is not part of the definition. It is telling you how is this sentence using this word. Okay, that's adjectives. Questions? Okay, next part, adverbs. You may have noticed in that last part I said I kept talking about nouns, verbs, and adjectives. I did not talk about adverbs. And the reason is because adverbs are the trash can of English words. Basically, if you cannot decide what kind of word this is or what it is doing in this sentence, it's an adverb. If it's not a noun, verb, adjective, preposition, conjunction, expletive, modal verb, if it's none of those things, then it's an adverb. But there are a few, let's say two. There are two common types of adverbs we can talk about. The first one is it describes a word that is not a noun. If a word describes a noun, it is an adjective. If it describes something that is not a noun, it is an adverb. So like you have these, right? Go slowly, uh, vividly blue. So it describes a word that is not a noun. These adverbs, as you can see, appear either in front or behind of the word it is describing. There's not a lot of, you can choose if you want to put it in front or behind. Depends on how much you want to emphasize the adverb. Um, but usually if it is describing a verb, it will go behind. If it's describing an adjective, it will go in front, usually. But again, you have some freedom to choose. The other kind of adverb is the sentence adverb. It doesn't describe one word. It describes the whole sentence. Hopefully does not describe any one word. It is describing the whole sentence. It is adding a description. It is slightly changing the meaning of this sentence. So in this sentence, we have two adverbs. Very flexible. Very is an adverb that describes the word flexible. Generally describes the whole sentence. This sentence is the general case. Yes, the word however is also an adverb. It is describing how you should think about this sentence. The way you should think about it is different from the previous sentence. Additionally, again, is also an adverb that tells you how to think about this sentence. It's telling you that this is similar to the previous sentence. Now, sentence adverbs can be put almost anywhere in the sentence. Almost anywhere. So for example, let's take this one and let's play with it. Generally, adverbs are very flexible. Adverbs generally are very flexible. Adverbs are we don't need a comma here. Generally very flexible, and adverbs are very flexible generally. All four are correct. But you'll notice there are some differences. The first two have commas. If you put it at the beginning, you need a comma. If you put it before the main verb, you need two commas, right? The main verb is are. But after that, it's fine. The other point you may have noticed is that we did not put the word generally here because very is describing flexible. It has to be next to the word, so you cannot interrupt it with another word. So you can put these adverbs almost anywhere in the sentence. Same for this sentence. You can put additionally here. You can put the word additionally here. And you can put it, you can't put it here. You can put it here. The reason you can't put additionally here is because readers may think you are using the word additionally to describe obscure. So they may think you're trying to say these rules are something else and also obscure, but that's not what you're doing. You're talking about the relationship of the entire sentence to the previous sentence. And of course, not every adjective ends with ly, right? Above we had the however. Um, the word here is an adjective. It's describing the place where this sentence happens. The word later is an adjective. It's describing the time that this sentence happens. So like I said, any word that does not have another category is an adverb. And then you have the word as. As, according to different dictionaries, has different parts of speech. So it could be a conjunction, 连接词. It could be an adverb. Yeah, those two. So it depends on how you use the word as. I'm not going to talk about as here because it's going to get very confusing. And also I'm not very clear about how to define different uses of as. But something like as soon as possible. This is, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to talk about this. We don't care. But as can be confusing. That's all you have to know. If somebody tries to test you on what part of speech is this as, um, like just guess. It doesn't really matter. And on the way out, you can say fuck you because it doesn't matter. Okay, questions about adverbs. Okay, and then the third thing we're going to talk about today is a specific kind of adjective. Numbers. Yes, numbers are adjectives. They describe how many. Colors are also adjectives, right? They describe something. So I'm sure you know about numbers, so we're just going to go through these very quickly. Page 22. For this unit, not only are we talking about the grammar, we're also going to be talking about how do you say these numbers. Um, Odd, even. Okay, so like first, second, third, these kinds of numbers are called ordinal numbers. They go in a specific, they put things in a specific order, so they are ordinal. Okay, in American English, we do not put and before the last one. So like in this example, 310 is the American pronunciation. But in British English, it is 310 or 5,642 is British, but in American, we don't add the and. Um, okay, how do you say this number? Oh, the answer is here, right? So it's 786,450 in American English, and we are learning American English. So, of course, the headache here is if you're used to thinking in Chinese, it can be hard to convert when you have to say the number. So I think it's best to memorize the conversion for every three places. So you should remember that this is called 1,000. This is called 1,000,000. So 1,000,000 is 1,000,000. 10亿 is 1,000,000,000. And then 1兆 is 1,000,000,000,000. English just goes by three. Every three we have a new word. But Chinese, of course, goes by four. So you do have to remember key changes. And so if you memorize these uh, key moments, then you can work forward or work backward to figure out exactly what this number is. And hopefully that will help you when you have to say one of these numbers in English. All right, so 千百万十亿兆 and then work from there. Okay, next, fractions. Ha ha ha. So the common fractions are 1/2 or a half, 1/3 or a third, and then 1/4 or a quarter. But after that, um, basically say the numbers in order. And then for the second number, make it plural. Or if it's plural, add an S at the end. So this is 3/8, so it's 3/8 plural S. This is 6/7, so it's 6/7 plural S. If you have a whole number, then even in American English, add the word and. So this is 1 and 2/3 S plural, 1 and 2/3. Of course, if it's only one, it's singular, 1/8, no S, because there's only one. And it's always singular. Next, decimals. To replace the decimal mark, we use the word point. So this is 3.7. This is 0.1 or 0.1. Not is British English. In American English, we say O. 1.25, 2.1368. You'll notice we're not counting thousands or hundreds. You just read the numbers. 2.1368, 1.057, 4.0098. But like if you're talking on the phone and it can be hard to hear, it's probably a good idea to say 0. Some people will say 00, right? So like James Bond is 007. Okay, next you have different words for 0. Not is British, but the other ones are also American. Nil. There are a few others that are less common. And then finally, in tennis, instead of saying 0, they say love. This is true. If you watch a tennis match and they use English, you will hear the word love, and that means 0. So aside from these, what do you have here? Nil. Sometimes you will also hear words like zilch, zip, also means 0. Nada is Spanish for nothing, is also used in English. See if there are others. No, those are probably all the zeros you need to know. Telephone numbers. So if you fill out a form in Taiwan, sometimes they will divide the numbers into three sections, right? Um, when you say the numbers in English, um, usually we also separate it into three sections. And you read the numbers just like you would read decimals. Uh, I can't remember what decimals are called in Chinese. 小数点. Yes, you read them just like you read decimals. So this one is 307, pause, 4922. Or if you want, you can say double two. What else do we have? Okay, so like if you have kings, it is not 14, it is the 14th because we're going in order. This is the 14th king named Louis. Floors. The ground floor in British is called first floor in American. So if you go to the UK and they tell you it's on the second floor, you have to go up 2 floors to what we call the third floor. Um, I want to I want to finish this page and then we can take a break. Um, you can say 800, you can say 100, both are fine. But if you're counting something like pounds, uh, then the plural should only be added to the last word, right? Not thousands times, but thousand times. But if you use of, or if the last word is a number, then you can add s. Hundreds of pounds, or it cost thousands, which means thousands of dollars. Uh, okay, this is British, but this principle is the same. $3.75 is $3.75. Sorry, $3.75. Or you would say $3.75, or you might even say 3.75. And which part is dollars, which part is cents should be clear from the context. So this is 4.85, €4.85, or €4 and 85 cents. Adjectives. This is interesting. Yeah, if it comes with a unit, combine the unit with the number. A 5-pound note, a 10-mile walk, a 3-month-old baby. We talked about this last time. Combine the unit with the number. Sometimes you use possessive. 4 days journey means a journey that takes 4 days. 4 days apostrophe, 它这个撇号撇错方向. Means it takes 4 days. A week's holiday means it takes a week. And then You already know this. Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to do the next page. Okay, let's continue. Math, my second favorite subject. So you can, of course, just read the symbols, right? 2 plus 2 equals 4. 7 minus 4 equals 3. 3 times 4 equals 12. 9 divided by 3 equals 3. But English has other ways of talking about math. You can say 2 plus 2. You can say 2 and 2. Um, and instead of equals, you can say is or are. Usually is. Is better. 7 minus 4 or 4 from 7. Take 4 from 7. 3 times 4 or 3 multiplied by 4. Or you can even say 3 by 4. And then 9 divided by 3, you can say 9 over 3. Or um, 3 into 9. So the logic is the same as 4 from 7. 3 into 9 is 9 divided by 3. So, if you need to talk about math, or if somebody is talking math at you, this is how to understand what they're saying. Dates. The international date order is day, month, year. 30 March 1993. American date order is March 30, comma, 1993. And of course, in Taiwan, we say 1993, March 30, which is a very unusual order in terms of international dates. So like this is the American one, March 30, comma, 1993. And if your sentence continues, you have to have another comma, right? So separate the year using commas. So there are many different ways to say this. You can say 30 March, you can say March 30, you can say March 30th. No, this is wrong. March 30th. You can say the 30th of March. Now, as for the year, you should always separate it into two halves. 1993. 13, oh, this is 1305, this one. 1305. 1910. There are two exceptions. If the number only has one half, 1200, you don't say 1200. Just read the number 1200 or like 1900. Well, I guess it is still two halves, right? The first half is 12. The second half is 100. It's not 1200. It's 1200. The second exception is from 2001 to 2009. You say the number. So this is 2005. And if you're British, you can say and 5. Um, if you're talking about before or after the year 0, okay, today we don't say BC anymore. We say BCE. So 55 BCE is before the year 1, and BCE stands for before Common Era, 公元前. We no longer say 西元, we say 公元. We don't say BC because BC means before Christ, and not everybody believes in Jesus Christ. If you need to emphasize that it is not BCE, it is actually after year 1, now we say CE, which means, of course, Common Era, 公元. But in the older style, you say AD 53. AD means Anno Domini, which is Latin for in the year of our Lord, which means after Jesus Christ was born. But again, we don't all believe in Jesus Christ, so now we don't say that. And because it was in Latin, you would put the AD before the number. So the old style is AD 53. But today we say, let's use the same example. Today we say 53 CE. Okay, and then we have random other stuff. Okay, this is fun. So the correct way to say this, the technical correct way to say this is 4 to the power of 2. The next one is 7 to the power of 3. But if it's 2 or 3, you can say squared or cubed. 4 to the power of 2 is 4 squared. 4 squared. 7 to the power of 3 is 7 cubed. If you need to go in the opposite direction, so like we call that a square root, and I can't remember what this is in Chinese. 平方根, right? Or if you need 3 立方根 cube root. Usually in daily life, you don't need more than a cube root, right? 不用找4次根. So you only need to remember square root and cube root. Okay, if you, we talked about this. Measuring things, you can use the word by. 10 by 12 meters. You can even skip the first meter. 10 by 12 meters. Percentage, 60%. Percent is now one word if you're American. It's still 2 words in British, but in American it's 1 word. 60%. In Chinese, we put the percent first, right? 60%. But in English, we put it last. 60%. Speed. In Taiwan, we use kilometers, so it's kmph, kilometers per hour. Weight, kg is kilograms. If you're in the US or the UK, they still use pounds. And there's a really strange story about why pounds looks like lb, but I forgot the story because it's too strange. In the US and UK, they have pounds and ounces, and the abbreviation for ounce is OZ. Again, very weird. I think it's 16 ounces to a pound, right? Anybody know? Let's ask Google. 16 ounces to a pound. Good. Okay, what else do we have? Temperature, 28 degrees Celsius, or sometimes you will hear people say centigrade. Celsius is the name of the person who created it, this system. Centigrade is a technically more correct word. Centi means 100. Grade means divided into or according to this scale. So it's a scale from 1 to 100, which is, of course, Celsius. So here's how we say this. 28 degrees C, or 28 degrees Celsius, or 28 degrees centigrade. So you read it in the same order that you write it. If you're in the US, they use Fahrenheit, 华氏, 72 degrees Fahrenheit. How do you convert 1 degree C? See if I remember this. Plus 23. And then, you know what? I don't trust myself. I'm going to ask Google again. That doesn't help. That also doesn't help. The hell? There we go. This one. Yes. Okay. So Celsius times 9/5 plus 32. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So here's why. Freezing point, 冰点, is 0 degrees Celsius, right? But it's 23 degrees Fahrenheit. So in order to get from Celsius to Fahrenheit, first you have to you have to make the number bigger. So multiply by 9/5. It makes the number bigger. And then you add the freezing point, 23. Okay. What else do we have? Oh, okay. Groups of numbers. 1.5, 1.5, 1.5 is more than one. It is not one, right? We previously said only fractions and singular are singular. Only fractions and one are singular. Plurals, multiple fractions, 0 are all plural. What else do we have? A dozen is 12. A baker's dozen is 13. Apparently, in the medieval times, bakers would take the same amount of dough and they would create 13 loaves of bread instead of 12. So a baker's dozen is 13. What else do we have? 1 out of 10 means 1 over 10. You can say every 10th, right? Every 10 people, you have 1. So every 10th person is 1 out of 10 people. Groups, 1 by 1. In twos is 2 by 2. And then you can also say groups of 3, groups of 5. So 5 by 5, a group of 5, and then the next group of 5, and then the next group of 5. Um, right. Okay. I think that's all we have, right? Okay. Questions about numbers? Okay. If you don't have questions, I have questions. Please read the following numbers. The first one, 林雨晨在吗？不在内。王日琪 Hi. How do you say the first number? Good. 56%. Good. Next one, 简玉轩. 简玉轩在吗? Yes. How do you say this one? Imagine it's dollars. Okay, good. $2. What's next? There's actually a 0 here. It's 2.30. So it's $2 and 3 zeros, so it's 30. 30 cents. Okay? $2.30. Cents is spelled C-E-N-T-S. Okay, this one. How do you say this one? 梁洛溪。梁洛溪在吗？没有。宋伟昌。How do you say this one? No, 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 no. The third one. Yes, 0.258 or 0.258. Okay, next one. It's a telephone number. Cai Wangjing. How do you say this phone number? Okay, very close. Usually if there's If it's 10 numbers, we put the last 4 in one group. So 307, pause, 654, pause, 9880. Okay? Okay, good. Next one. How do you say this formula? 庄丽君. Hi. How do you say this in English? Good. 5 plus 7 equals 12. Good. Next one. How do you say this in English? It's a tennis match. 吕玉轩. I'll give you a hint. If it's a baseball match, we would say 2-0. But it's a tennis match. It's here. 0 in tennis is called love. Yes, so in tennis, this is to love. Good. How do you say this number? 郭继荣. I'll give you a hint. This one is 3/8. Good. So this number is 7/8. Good. Next, how do you say the next number? 林童言. Yeah, 林童言. 方从言. Sorry. Good. 1/3. The next one is British. We don't have to know this. It's 50 pence. In American English, we would say 50 cents. So it doesn't matter. Next one. How do you say this number? 魏群茂. 有来吗? Yes. How do you say this number? Let me give you a hint. So every time you see one comma, it changes words, right? So if you look here, right? If it's one comma, you say thousand. If it's two commas, you say million. So what is this number? Good. And then? Good. 450,670. Okay? Okay, good. How do you say the name of this king who is a real king of England? 邓禹慈. James the First. Good. Next, how do you say this speed? 刘振兴. 不见了，好吧？廖泽宏. How do you say this speed? Good. 65 miles per hour. Okay, how do you say this number here, 李凯成? How do you say this? 戴起眼镜来了. No, the number underneath 65. 6的二次方. That's the answer. How do you say this number? 6 squared. If it's 2, it's squared. Or you can say 6 to the power of 2. Okay, good. Next, how do you say this year? 刘雨桐. Let me give you a hint. This year is 1200. Sorry, this year is 1200. So this year is 1500. Okay? It's two halves, right? The first half is 15. The second half is 100. And then if you see 80, just say AD. Okay? Okay, so this is 1500 AD. Next, how do you say this math in English, kanjinwei? Okay, very close. 18 divided by 6 equals 3. Usually we use the passive voice. 除法用被动语气. Other options include 18 over 6 or 6 into 18. And instead of equals, you can say is. Is 3. Uh, Let's do this one. Wang Youchen, how do you say this one? Okay, close. 9 minus 2 equals 3. Where is it? This word. Minus. Good. I think there was like a movie, right? Uh, 我的同学麦纳斯 or something, right? That's it uses this word. Okay, what else have we? Okay, let's practice this one. How do you say this number? 苏明瑶在吗? Yes. How do you say this number? Okay, close. This is a comma. 这是逗点，它不是小数点. Do you want to try again? Okay, it's so if we see one comma, it is 1,000. So this is 289,906. If you're British, you would say 906. Okay, how do you say this year, 田建安? 田建安在吗? Yes, how do you say this year? Do it in two parts. 分两半. Okay, so that is a very technically correct way, but usually we say 1603 BC. 1603 BC. Okay, so it's two halves, right? First half 16, second half 03. Okay? Okay, good. Let's see. Oh, let's try this one. This is gonna be fun. Chang Youxuan, hi, how do you say this number? It's two commas, 两个逗点. Okay, good. 567 million. And then? Do you want a hint? So 1 comma is thousand, 2 commas is million, 3 commas is billion. So 567 million. One hundred twenty 120,000. Finally, 238. Good. So 1 comma is thousand, 2 commas is million. 567 million, 120,000, 238. Okay, good. This one, 徐子涵. Good. And just to make sure we know exactly what this is, a 2 hyphen year hyphen old boy. Yeah, 连接号不能少. Hey, okay, this one. 洪一真, 洪一真, no. 朱增怡, 江静, this one. Let me give you a hint. 25.5%. Good, exactly the same. 25.5%. Okay, 3 dozen eggs is how many eggs, everybody? 36. Good, 12 times 3. And then the second floor in the UK is which floor in the US? Yes, third floor. Good. Good job, you guys. Hopefully now you are better at doing math in English. Next page. Nouns is adjectives. Remember, adjectives never change. Adjectives are always the same, no matter how many, no matter what time. It is always the same one word. So, for example, a table in a kitchen is a kitchen table. It's a table. What kind of table? The kind of table in a kitchen. So it's a kitchen table. It's not a table kitchen. It's not the kind of kitchen that fits on a table. Right? We're still talking about tables. So it is a kind of table. Okay, so there are 7 more. I'll give you 3 minutes. Do you need 3 minutes? I'll give you 2 minutes. 3 minutes. I'll be kind. 3 minutes. Okay, let's compare answers. Number 2, 王英杰. Number 2, please. C, yes, we're talking about tables. So it should be something something tables. Bedroom is used as an adjective. Adjectives never change. Doesn't matter how many tables, they're all bedroom tables. One bedroom. Number 3, 有一则. Is George here? No. Uh, 宋伟华, Alex. B, yes, we're talking about an office, so it's a home office. B. Number 4, 杜理. Number 4. Good, A. We're talking about offices. So it should be something something offices. And the first word is an adjective, so it doesn't change. It's always the same word. Home. Okay? 杜理, 这样可以吗? Okay. Yeah. Number 5, 林彩瑜. The first one is my home phone, so the other one is my office phone, right? Home phone, office phone. B. Okay? Okay, number 6. Mingwen. Sorry. Yeah, Mingwen. Yes, number 6. C, good. We're talking about sinks. It's a bathroom sink. Number 7, 徐一杰. 徐一杰在吗? No? Eliza, number 7. A, good. We're talking about a garden, so it's a vegetable garden. And finally, number 8, 陈方伟. B, we're talking about trees, cherry trees. Good. Questions? Okay, next page. Same thing, but this time you have to write it. Also be careful. The number may change. 11 questions. I'll give you another 3 minutes. Okay, let's compare answers. Number 2, this is 谢云起. No, 郑晓琪. Also no. 郭泽旭. 嗯，陈玉佩. 王佩琪. Hi. Number 2, birthday party. Good. Checks from the government. So it is a uh 严少颖. I think I called on everybody. Okay, so I'll do the rest of them myself. The third one, checks from the government. So they are a government check. 支票. Seats in the airplane. So it says are, so it's plural. Airplane seats. Number 5, pajamas made of cotton are cotton pajamas. By the way, pajamas in British English is spelled differently. In British English, it is spelled pajamas. This is British. American, it's PA. Cotton, 棉花. Pajamas, 睡衣. Number 6, rooms in the hotels. So these are hotel rooms. Number 7, a baby is 10 months old, so it's a 10 dash month dash old baby. Number 8, a trip lasted for 3 days. There are 2 answers here. You can say a 3-day trip. Oh, there's only one answer. Sorry. The other answer, because it already gives you a. If you don't have the word a, you can say it is. Oh, you can. Sorry. No, yeah, there are 2 answers. 3 days. Actually, I can't remember. Very interesting. Um, yeah. Okay. You do need you can't use the word here. So it is 3 days trip. Where are we? Yeah, we took 3 days trip. But it gives you the word a, so you can only use the first answer, a 3-day trip. Number 10, a paper of 5 pages is a 5-page paper. Number 11, a singer of operas is an opera singer. Number 12, a collector of stamps is a stamp collector. The technical name for this is a philatelist, because philately is stamp collecting. That's the name of the activity. Okay, questions about this page? Okay, homework. Please finish up to page 30, 26 to 30. Next week, remember 5th period, go to your separate classrooms for the online exchange. And then 6th period, come back. We will talk about prepositions, 介系词. You're not going to want to miss this. See you next week.